table there for a friend. It should get you some sugar. It really should. We can just ask.
It's 1 o'clock. We need to get started. We do have a quorum. Would you please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have one board member that is out of town. First item of business is to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. I will make that motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll second it.
I haven't seen it since I was just. Did they not get distributed? I'm sorry.
I sent them out to the directors.
Yeah, for right now.
Well, I have the ability to read them and comment on them later time.
Okay.
I'm not going to try to do it right now.
We can always modify or find something significant. So any other discussion? Well, we can modify them later if you find something. So we'll go ahead and approve them and then they'll be open to modification if necessary. Any further discussion on that motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Unfortunately, our treasurer is out of town, so I'm going to give a brief update. And I am working with Bobby at CPM to put our budget in a more familiar format and make it easier to read and consolidate some things. If you have questions about specific items, then we can look at the specific items. We have budgeted $715,257,000 this year. And the assessment income was $553,182. We have late fees of $10,391, hang tag income $16,960, boat sticker income $42,523. Auto sticker income, $10,350. Construction bond income, $9,000. We have a lot of construction bonds still outstanding, so we'll generate more revenue there. Office rental income is $4,650. Operating expenses. Accounting and professional services, $12,275. Collection fees, $942. Credit card expenses, $8,000. Postage, $4,785. Bad debt, $237. Under maintenance, we have currently spent $110,840 on road repairs, which we anticipate there will be some additional money spent on road repairs since we approved an additional $100,000 for that. General maintenance, $31,883. Fuel cost, $4,059. Grounds improvement, $31,844. Equipment and tool purchases, $5,260. Lakes and beaches improvement, $7,193. Campground and bath, don't have any expenses there. Hang tag expenses, $3,463. $6,000 for fish. Porta potties, $1,644. Lake treatment, $2,690. And those are the major areas of the income. I do not have the comparison between this year and last year, but I will make sure that I get that and have that posted. In the financial arena, we have been working to try to figure out where we are with collections of assessments, and as I mentioned at the last meeting, we have about 400 lots that are in arrears. We have 19 homes that are in arrears. They owe $37,664.13. They range from 9 years to most of them are 2 years. We are going to look at trying to be more aggressive with the collection on these. The conundrum is if you get lawyers involved, you pay lawyers a lot of money to process, and then even if we get a judgment, there's still no guarantee that we can collect. We're going to look at taking the approach of forcing a sale of the homes to see if that will motivate the individuals to pay. I can maybe understand a little bit 2 years, but I cannot understand 9 years. So that's the financial report for now. Somebody should make a motion to approve.
I second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. ACC committee report.
Well, I'll just, the year in review, it's been quite an exciting year. We've been able to convert to the electronic system, and so now we have permanent archives of every project that's started since we made the switch, which I think is wonderful. We're still trying to get rid of all of the old blueprints and all the old records and things in there that I'm not sure why we kept those, but now we have an electronic record of them.
Well, those documents were kept at the county office anyway.
Well, not only projects that had county approval.
Well, county approval.
Anyway, so we began a revision of the, or a review and possible revision of the manual early on when I began this committee, but we put that on hold as we switched to the electronically because it changes a whole lot of things, and so I'm glad now we feel much more comfortable with the electronic approach to it. It certainly changes every one of those different algorithms or procedures on how to, get a permit and what a permit should be, et cetera. So we'll look at that again once we feel pretty comfortable that we aren't missing a whole lot. I'm not going to say we're missing nothing, but we're missing a whole lot, so we don't have to do the same work twice. And then we continue to try to close some of these, or finish, if that's the right term, some of these projects that have been outstanding for a couple of years, but that's kind of like the people who have to pay for assessments. It can be difficult, and I don't think there's been a lot of repercussions historically for people who don't follow the rules or choose not to submit a project request or maybe not complete their project timely, even though the bylaws state they should. So we're taking a good hard look at that over the next year.
Okay.
I guess one thing I want to ask about somewhere there's a project about the 9400 block of East Vista. It's like a driveway being dug out. Are you familiar with that one?
I'd have to pull up, there's so many projects, I
So
can't
it's
tell you.
towards the last cove on the right on the big lake. It's in the 9400 block, it's on the lake. They're ripping out a driveway. The question I got is, instead of just doing, an 8-inch dig out on a driveway or something to repair a driveway, there's a large hole coming all the way up to our road. And I'm just curious if you knew what was going on there.
I'll have to look.
Okay.
There's so many projects, I couldn't tell you.
If you can
Except
take
for the
a,
projects that I'm the inspector on, I probably couldn't give you an accurate, up-to-date.
just please take a look at that. There's
Those right now.
residents that are concerned that even underneath our own road, they come out so far, so deep to the East Vista. Just take a look at that, please. 9400 block of East Vista, right around 9400.
Anything else, Ken?
Like this one?
Roads report?
So that was the one that came up, the roads report, we're gonna do an additional, 60,000 road repairs starting with Ventry this week, and also around by Richmond, towards the back corner of the subdivision, by Richmond, and then we're gonna come up and do by Peachtree and Scarlet, and going down there, that should all be happening this week. So it'll be an additional, another 60,000, so now we're north of the 250, approaching 300 on roads repairs for this, forward to this year. That's all I have for roads right now.
Okay. Lakes and beaches.
Well, we started some projects. We got waiting for John to finish up our steps on our patio that we put in. We did the boulders, removed them, and put in beach gravel over there. We've dug out around the boat dock, made that deep. We've put up a guardrail where you come down into the boat ramp area. There was a loose fence there. And other than that, we've had food trucks, and we've had a very good summer. We've had no police, no injuries at the beach. We've had one night of a broken bottle. And other than that, we've had a pretty good year. We made it through the year without treating chemicals. I know that upset a lot of people, but between the chemist and the conservation agent, we've done well, they said. Somebody said we've got crawdads and minerals starting to come back. So it's positive, it's a catch-22. Some people don't like the weeds, some people don't like the chemicals, so we're trying to get a balance, and we're on our way. Thank you.
Okay. Technology and security report.
A year in review, we developed the security and technology roadmap earlier in the summer, start of summer. 68 projects, 7 completed, 26 in flight. We've enhanced the security through surveillance, began to wrap policy and process. We enhanced the technology through infrastructure upgrades and then realignment there. Great progress. New.
And it looks like, yes, Haley? Go ahead. Apparently there's a technology issue. He has anything additional, we'll get it when it comes back. Maintenance.
Well, we've been busy. Last year when we came on, they threw us these keys. And said, here you go. So we started there, we had to go through all the keys, and then the second thing I had, this contract. And it was $3,000 a week to mow grass. That'd be $12,000, and to cut the dam once was $3,800, so other than looking at $15,000. So what are we gonna do? And then I keep reading down on this sheet, pre-treat and salt the roads, $9,000 before we plow the snow. I thought, our subdivision probably can't handle this, so I got our heads together. We hired some 1099 contractors. We put all of our equipment together. We've made everything run. Every piece of equipment we have will pass inspection and runs. We had oil leaks fixed. We had all kinds of batteries, equipment repaired. Everything we have operates now. We have 3 1099 contractors, and I know people have been seeing some improvement in the neighborhood. We've been working hard, and I think we've done a good job on snow. We've saved a lot of money, and we're prepared to do it again if we can.
So I want to add to that, I'm glad that the equipment and all the maintenance shed stuff did not get sold at this exact meeting last year for 50 grand. And it's up and running.
Everything is, we probably got a couple $100,000 worth of.
You want to give an update on the new piece of equipment that you?
Okay, we bought a thing called a Samurai, and it goes onto the tractor, and it runs on hydraulics, and it's like a sickle blade, but it's up in the air, and we can drive along the road, and it trims the trees, and we have our grinder running, and then we go behind it, and then we pick up the leaves, and we grind them and blow them into the woods. So we've got a good method, very efficient, and we're well on our way. We've got John Mosley, Paul, and Jim Ferguson, and they're all retirees, and they're all 1099 contract workers, happily working and doing a very good job. I think we completed our mission that we wanted to do. That was my goal when I came here, when we were losing our maintenance, and then we seen the bill what we couldn't afford, so we went that route. And I know we can't make everybody happy all the time, but we tried like hell.
Samurai, that's a good name.
It's a cool thing, dude. That'd be my report. And I'm still taking openings for trees that need to be trimmed or any work that needs to be done that's on common ground. Fill out a report and Haley will get it to us. That's
Any
it.
discussion? Old business.
He's not got his spell, that makes sense, to shave it.
Do you have anything else to add?
I do not. If I did,
Well, the new system that you put together is much more concise, and from a validation standpoint, having everything labeled and traced is a very good thing in technology, because that doesn't put all the information to one individual. That he's the only person who knows what plug goes where and why. So I think that that's a great improvement from what we had. It was pretty much a tangled mess in the back, and now it's much more structured. So thank you very much.
Greatly appreciate everything you've done, Jay.
Yeah, you've done an excellent job.
Yeah,
You brought us
very
into the
big.
21st century.
Yeah. The only thing that, I don't know if this is an appropriate spot to put under old business or not, but I do want to go back to the guy that put the excavator in the lake and decided he was going to clean his own cove himself. I want to see going forward at a minimum of a $10,000 fine if that happens again, because of we're not quite sure of where that could have gone and the mess that could have shut this whole subdivision down, where not one single person was able to use their restroom. If it would have gone bad, I think that would be a minimum, and there needs to be a plan moving forward. I get we got, codes to work on, and we're building that account up to do that slowly but surely. We don't ever want to see that account go back to zero again. And that did not happen the past year, but it's going forward. But a minimum of a $10,000 fine if somebody throws a piece of equipment in this lake without going through ACC and having it fully approved and the right projection going through, I think that needs to be addressed.
Same thing is going with that. Maybe other lakes with the dredging, maybe someday we could lower our lake and bring equipment in and work it. Wallanoka every 3 years, and so does Tishomingo. Every 3 years they drop their lake down so they can repair seawalls, put in these old seawalls. Maybe we need to look at dropping our lake down, and then we can bring equipment in and clean all the coves out and move forward with a whole lot less expense. And then Jesus would have to fill our lake up in the spring.
Okay, I think both of those probably need to have some additional discussion.
Yep.
And I would say that we table that idea until the next meeting and gather some additional information. I have been working on looking at root cause analysis of various things, and this is something that Kent brought up in the past. Before we do much dredging, we must come up with some methodology to address stormwater runoff. The volume of water is not necessarily the main problem, it's the velocity of the water that comes down the hill. And when you live in the bottom of a bowl, all the water that falls around you is going to move towards the center. Water follows the path of least resistance. If your path of least resistance is the steepest part of your hill, that will accelerate the water. The water will pick up more debris and material to flow into the lake. So if you dredge the coves now, you would look at the first heavy rain in the spring and you would get a whole lot of the same stuff back in it. One of the ways to divert the velocity of the water is to channel the water in a horizontal versus a vertical format. To be able to do that, you're going to have to get cooperation from a lot of different lot owners. The other option is to trench around all the lakes and put a 5 to 10 foot water flow system in that will move the water to someplace else where you can get rid of the debris and then put the water in the lake. Both of those are going to be expensive. Both of them are going to be time consuming. An example of redirecting the water to a horizontal flow, I know of a particular individual that was having problems with water flow eroding out their driveway. I helped him put in a trench, put plastic and rock in it, and moved it over into an adjoining lot and made it much more horizontal than vertical, and that eliminated the erosion at their driveway, and it also spread the water out in the other lot so it didn't form a trench, but was able to be absorbed more into the ground. We have multiple issues with water in this neighborhood. Number one, our topsoil is about 18 inches deep, and then you hit bedrock, and our soil is very clay. Clay does not absorb water readily. My backyard looks like, I don't know what, it's got great cracks in it. But anyway, those are some of the issues that we are looking at, and I've gotten a hold of some additional water flow experts, none of which are cheap. So we're still evaluating what we can do and how we can go about it. Right now, the water passages for most of the runoff go directly down the hill into the lake, and that's not an acceptable format. But digging deeper ditches and putting basically wing dams in is not going to be effective either in that. So that's just goes along with what you said on and I'm well aware that the coves need to be dredged. I just don't like to spend money that I know is going to not solve the problem. Any new business? Then I will request a motion to adjourn.
Last meeting. Thank you, John.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion, meeting is adjourned.
What, says thank you, yes. You would give it up,
Okay, you
I
got
was
that?
thanking him for being on the board. And thank you,
Okay.
David, for that.
Thank you both.
And Mary Lou. You still have hair left. Pull it all out.
Open forum is now open.
You got a question?
I was waiting.
Going once, going twice. So, we're done. Thank you very much.